Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to a demonstration of our new locomotion system and interaction system that I'm working on. Right here, it's just a nice little test scene with a couple moving platforms. Right off the bat, one thing you'll notice is that I've inputted height scaling as well. So if you just saw that little jump, if I crouch down here and press a button to scale my height, you can see that the height scales correctly, and if I stand up too tall for my height, you can see how it lerps down like that. So I'm just going to set that to my normal standing height. The hands, they're here. They're a little bit different than last time. Basically everything is a lot different than last time. So every joint is technically connected to the body now via a configurable joint. So the hands and the body and everything is all one connected together in one physics object. I want a lot of the physics interactions to be realistic, but at the same time not too kind of finicky and jerky, and just allow for a ton of smooth gameplay. So you'll also notice that when I'm walking here, all this is very similar to Boneworks. It's a sphere just below my feet there, touching the ground, and that sphere is just a simple add torque, and that's just doing all the rotation and moving and everything. So you'll notice when I walk up a high slope like this, if I'm just at the base here and I add a torque, I'm moving right now, or trying to, and you'll notice that it doesn't move. However, if I come up to that same slope with a bit of acceleration already on there, or a little bit of velocity already on there, sorry, then it starts to climb up very nicely like that. You'll also notice we now have jumping as well, a very nice jump mechanic. We also have crouching right here, so you can crouch and stand up. And this is a lot nicer than before. With that crouching, you'll also notice my head doesn't intersect with any objects. I can't go underneath this right now. I'm colliding with it. I can't move into it or anything. But if I crouch down, either using the fake crouch here on my hand, or either I crouch in my real world, you notice I can now fit under this object. My head goes in a little, so there's a little bit of a finickiness there, but for the most part, you won't be able to clip through any objects. And you stand right back up after crouching. You can also crouch in the physical world, as I mentioned before, and still be able to get under the object. Now, I apologize for no smooth camera in this demo, but it's just to show you a bunch of stuff we've been working on so far. Still have the same grabbing and everything, distributed forces. I've updated the way the joint breaks now, so if you try and check it too much, or your hand goes like that too much, you'll notice if I push my hand apart with both hands on, the joint snaps like that and breaks. Various other slope demonstration here. Moving platforms as well. Oh, you can see the example of the physics sphere affecting movement there. Moving platforms also are here. So this will introduce a ton of new mechanics to it. You can see that the player moves along with the platform. It isn't jittery or anything. This platform itself is actually a rigid body. So you'll notice if I jump, I move along with the rigid body on the floor as well. If I were to jump at the exact moment that it would stop, I would still have velocity, and therefore I would fly off the edge of this test area. There's also sprinting that I'm doing right now. Jumping, there's a little demonstration for you here. You gotta really jump there. You can see if I crouch down all the way and then jump, I can also get a much higher jump as well, and can make it up much taller objects. You can see that there. However, if I'm standing up all the way and then try and jump, there's barely anything. Next up here, we have this other moving platform. This one's moving very quickly, so you can see another way the physics affects everything, and see how I jump up like that. So the entire body is completely physics-based and all configurable joints, even to the point where there is a joint connected to my torso, to my hands. So those are theoretical arms. So if I place my hands on top here and let the platform pull me up, I can get pulled up like that. Almost fell off the edge there. But you can see how that'll make a bunch of fun game mechanics there. Just being able to put your hands on something and have your arms carry you up. Now for climbing, we went with a bit of a different approach. As I mentioned before, we don't want everything to be super crazy physics-based, but we do want it to still be a very fun and enjoyable mechanic. So you can see here, this is climbing as usual. But you will notice actually, while I'm climbing, I can actually phase into objects. And that is because in a lot of games I've found that when you're climbing and your head interacts with various other colliders, or just kind of you want to go over there, but you don't know why you're not able to, kind of thing. Just makes it a lot more easier for the player to understand what's going on. And so that is what I've added there. Climbing is still a bit finicky. I have to change up some offsets and all that. Works here, but in this direction it's a little tricky at times. So I got to tweak a couple values there, but that's climbing for the most part. Yeah, so you can also toss yourself off, and you fall accordingly as well. Next up, this is a tiny little combat kind of demonstration. This is just demonstrating the stabbable nature of everything that we want, and it's the fluidity of combat. We want it to be super fast-paced, and so you'll see this sword. It's weightless right now, so that's why I can fling it around like this. But this sword has stabbable areas on this edge of the blade, and also this part. So you can go ahead, stab it in just like that, or you could stab it in just like that, and you see how it flows through. Right now there's a lot of resistance in between when you're stabbing and when you're not, and that is for the sake of demonstration. You'll also notice that when it's inside the character, I can move it freely about. That is also just for the sake of demonstration. I can confine those joints. All it's doing is creating a configurable joint between whatever is stabbing and the blade itself. And so I can lock in an X, Y, or Z variable and have it stab accordingly. But you can see both sides work nice and fluid. This will soon be able to just like slash directly straight through the enemy, and will have various advantages towards whether you slash or whether you stab for the sword. So that's a little gist of the combat that you'll be seeing. Still really physics-based, but at the same time, very quick and easy, nothing finicky, just super smooth and fluid, cuts like butter, which isn't very realistic, but for the sake of gameplay is very nice. You can also grab any of these. You can see there, my hand's a little off, but that's because his collider's a little off. You can grab his head and stuff. We'll be going over enemies in a later date, but this video is merely for the sake of our locomotion system. And you can see a bit of our interaction system. You can also see before we had an issue with the hands lagging behind the player. You can now see when I go up this platform, the hands stay 1-to-1 even when I'm flaying them about. Even when I'm falling as well, you can see the hands are still always directly attached to the player. So that's been completely, that issue has been mitigated essentially. Yeah, so it's very inspired by Boneworks, but as you can see, we have been working on stuff over the past couple months. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. I'll try and answer it. Oh, also the zip line, I'll get to that in a future video as well. But yeah, thanks for watching.